Is your live clear?
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our online animal care open day. Thank you so much for taking some time out to come and join us today. So just to give you an idea about what we'll be doing in the next kind of half hour or so. Going to talk to you a little bit about our animal care courses that we've got available. So talk to you about the different courses and the different levels we've got. I'm also going to give you a virtual tour. So I've got kind of a new video to show you of our animal care training centre and show you some of the animals that we've got on site. And don't forget that you've got the question and answer function throughout, so you can kind of ask any questions that you might have throughout, and then we'll come to the questions at the end. So just to introduce myself, my name is Claire. I am the Animal Care Program Team Leader, so I look after the animal care courses that we've got at the Barony, and I'm also the course tutor for HND Animal Care as well. So first thing to start us off with, let's have a think about teaching and learning. So kind of how do we go about delivering our animal care courses? So it very much depends on the level of course and the course that you've applied for. But all of our courses, no matter the level, have a lot of practical work. Because of the nature of the course, you know, you're working with animals, they're going to have quite a lot of practical. So you'll have practical work. That practical work will take place on the animal centre, so on our on-site animal centre, also on the farm. So if you're interested in our NC animal care and also HND animal care year 2, you get to work on the farm as well. And our NCs are also currently working on the yard, so they're working on our stables and they are helping to kind of muck out and put the horses in and out the field, and they do a stable routine unit as well. So not just the animal centre, working with lots of different other species of animal as well. Then of course we've got the lectures, so your on-campus lectures to kind of go through the theory element of the course. HNC and HND have this kind of more of a blended approach where there is an element of online. NC, we do all of our teaching on campus. All of it will be face-to-face on the Barony campus. But if you go up to HNC and HND particularly, kind of that course has a little more of a blended approach, and some of that approach will be online classes. There's also Moodle, which is our virtual learning environment, and some of the lecturers will put activities onto Moodle for you to complete. All of your lecture materials will be on there, some of the assessments will be on there, and there'll be extra activities that you can do to kind of help you with revision as well. We've also got our lab on site as well. So particularly for kind of parasitology units, some of those units have that laboratory work, looking at the parasites under the slides and kind of doing different tests that have to take place in the laboratory. So you get to kind of work in there as well. There is an element of directed and self-study, particularly in HNC and HND, where we'll kind of give you that responsibility to take ownership for your own learning, but of course help you and guide you along the way. But when you get up to that kind of HN level, it's really important to start kind of taking ownership of your learning. So in terms of assessments, so we use SQA, and there is a range between practical and theory assessments. Now we don't have exam weeks, so we don't have like weeks of exams throughout the year. What we have is we have ongoing assessments throughout. So you might have an assessment a week for a couple of weeks, and then it goes a bit quieter, and then it kind of picks up again. So you'll get those assessments ongoing throughout the year. And then what you'll get at the beginning of the year is you'll get an assessment schedule or an assessment plan, and that will tell you exactly when those assessments are taking place. So it's not like we'll spring an assessment on you for next week. You'll have plenty of notice as to where they are. So some of those assessments will be practical. So for example, the animal husbandry unit, a lot of your NC units are practical based, where we'll be kind of watching your performance on the animal centre, looking at handling of the animals, looking at the feeding of them, looking at how cleaning them out. We also do health checks, we also do bandaging, and we also do a little bit of kind of dog walking as well. So lots of different things for you to kind of get your hands into. Also, you've got your practical book and your assessments. So what we'll do, particularly for NC, is they have like a practical book that they'll complete, and it kind of serves as a bit of a logbook and an evidence of all those practical activities that they've done throughout the year. HNCs also do an enrichment project. So they'll choose an animal on the animal centre, and they get to kind of build this fancy enrichment device for them, and they'll see how that enrichment device is affecting that animal's behaviour. Some of our assessments are closed book, so some of them will have to take place on campus and we'll get you into the room where you're not allowed any notes or anything with you, but some of the assessments are open book. So what that means is you can go onto Moodle, your assessment will be open for say 24 hours, and you can go onto Moodle and you can complete your assessment and you can have all of your notes and everything available to you, but sometimes those assessments will kind of have an hour's time frame. So although they're open book, you will still have kind of a time frame to complete those. You've also got assignments and reports, particularly at HND level. You have a lot more reports kind of as you go up through the levels. And it kind of depends on the unit really, but there'll be assignments and reports to do throughout. And also the animal centre staff will be doing observation checklists. So that's kind of just watching you on the animal care training centre to kind of see how you're getting on in the practical element of it as well. So in terms of support, we have lots of different support mechanisms on Barony, but also for animal care as well. So you've got your academic support. So if you might need a little bit of help with, say, a reader or a scribe, or maybe you need a little bit of extra time in your assessments, or you might just need a little bit of help with report writing, for example, or kind of how you approach assessments and exams. And also assessment support. So if you need kind of a separate room or a quieter room, or you need somebody with you in assessments, we have that kind of academic support mechanism in there to help you with any support that you might need. We also have our pastoral support, and we've got lots of highly trained members of staff there, and they will be able to deal with lots of different circumstances. So if maybe you just want somebody to chat to, you're just having a bit of a bad day, a bad week, and you just want some kind of help that maybe isn't related to your course, we have lots of pastoral support available as well. We also have the peer support group, excuse me. The peer support group is run at each individual campus, and that is run by students. Students can go along and can get study tips on particular assessments, or maybe they just want to meet new people on different courses and they just kind of want to help each other to get through the year. And I think the Barony peer support group was giving away free cookies the other week, so there's always a bonus. You've also got a designated course tutor, so it depending on what course you come on to, you will have a designated course tutor, and that course tutor will work with you from day one all the way through your course, and they'll kind of help to be your your support and your mentor throughout that course, and so they'll be there as your kind of main contact. We also have a careers advisor on site, so if you're thinking, oh, maybe I want to work with animals, don't really know what I want to do at the moment, but and you want to explore some options, we can help you with that. We can point you in the right direction of different employers and different industries, but we also have the careers advisor on site as well. And we'll also help you with your UCAS application. So if you're maybe wanting to move on to different higher education or different courses in the future, we will help you to get you through that UCAS application as well. So lots of different ways that we can help you. So in terms of animal care, kind of wanted to start off on a bit of a positive, because what we offer in terms of animal care is we offer lots of different trips abroad. So no matter what level of course you come on to, we should have a trip available to you. So for the last 2 years, we've run 2 different trips. So the HNCs and the HND students, they went to Africa for 2 weeks, and we did that through Gap Africa. And they went and they kind of went off to Africa for 2 weeks, and they had an absolutely amazing time. They went to 2 different reserves when they went to Gap Africa. And you can see some of the pictures here of some of the things that they did, and it was just a once in a lifetime opportunity. And we will continue to offer that every year. It's not a compulsory trip, you don't have to go, and there is a cost involved, but what we do is we try to kind of introduce the trip right at the beginning of the year, which gives you plenty of time to kind of think about it and get some funds together. And also for our FE students for the last 2 years, we've managed to secure some touring funding. So what that has meant is they've managed to go, last year was Ecuador, this year they're going to Costa Rica for 2 weeks, and they're going to go and play with the turtles for a couple of weeks, and there is no cost to them whatsoever. Because we've managed to get some funding, they've managed to go on these trips for the last 2 years, absolutely no cost whatsoever. So every single year I apply for touring funding to try and get you guys out to different countries and explore some different environments and some different countries. So you will always have the opportunity to go on one of these trips. We're introducing more and more trips abroad to kind of get you out and about and kind of introduce you to different things. So you get to go to a different country and explore lots of good things. So just to start talking about kind of some of the animal care specific courses that we offer. So this one is our Principles of Animal Care. This is 100% online. So this is kind of a bit of a pay-as-you-go course, and it's the most flexible course that we offer. Because what you can do is you can sign up to as few or as many of these units as you like. This is perfect if you're working full-time, for example, and you don't have the time to do a full-time course, but you kind of want to get a bit of a feel for what animal care is about. You may be thinking that in a year or two you'd be ready to do a full-time course, and you kind of just want to do something in the background, or maybe you're still at school or you're doing another course already. This is the sort of course that's going to be perfect for you, because you can sign up to 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever you like of these particular units, and you complete them at your own time. You can take as long or as short a time as you need to get these different units completed. So you just pay for them, you know, as you go, and then you'll get enrolled onto the Moodle page. That will have all of the materials that you need. It'll have all the assessments that you need. It'll have all the workbooks that you need. And also the lady in the corner of the screen is Amy, and she is the distance learning kind of course tutor. So she will be looking after you throughout your time, no matter what unit you're on or what unit you're working through. She will help you through that, and she kind of keeps you going through that. So it's the most flexible course that we offer at the moment, and it's perfect if you're not quite ready to sign up to a full-time course. So each of the units costs £100. The £100 will give you access to the Moodle course, gives you access to all the assessments, gives you access to all the course material, and it also will include your tutor support. So if you need kind of weekly chats with Amy, or you want to chat with Amy more often than that, you know, she's always available to kind of help you through. Flexible purchase plan enables you to buy one at a time and kind of progress at your own pace. Or if you know that you want to do 5 or 6 units, you can sign up to do as many or as few as you like. Depending on your circumstances, you might actually be eligible for a fee waiver, which means you won't have to pay for any of those units. And if you think you might be in that category, if you get in touch with us, we can kind of point you in the right direction as to what you need to do. You can start and finish this at any time. It doesn't run through the kind of normal academic year. You know, you wanted to start one of the units tomorrow, you could do that. So it's really, really, really flexible. So to apply for that particular course, if you head on to that website there, or you can also email animaldistance@sruc.ac.uk, and that will put you straight through to Amy, who will kind of guide you through how to apply for that course and get onto the units. Next one that we've got is our NC in Animal Care. So your NC Animal Care is a level 5, and it's a 1-year full-time course. At the moment, the NCs are on campus every day of the week, actually. Mondays and Fridays are their practical days. So on a Monday, half of the group goes to the farm, half of the group goes to the animal centre, and then on a Friday, half of the group is on the yard. So your Monday and your Friday are your practical days, and then the rest of the week are your kind of theory on campus days. So entry requirements for your NC. So ideally we need a minimum of 3 Nat 4s. Those Nat 4s should hopefully include an English and a maths subject. And then what we're also asking for is a National 5. Ideally that National 5 should be in a science type subject. And that is just to make sure that you're happy and you're comfortable to work through some of the more kind of sciencey aspects of the NC, particularly things like anatomy and physiology and parasitology, for example. If you've got that Nat 5 in science, then it kind of makes it clear that you're able to work through those particular units. We also ask for about a week of work experience if you can. If you don't have any work experience, it doesn't necessarily that you won't get into the course. It's just good to get a bit of a feel for the industry, make sure it's something that you really do want to do. Some people have come in with lots of work experience. Some people have come in with not a lot. So don't let the work experience element of it put you off. But the work experience is, I think, is a really important thing to do, just to make sure that that is actually what you want to do, to make sure that you actually want to work with animals, and kind of helps you to get a feel for what you might want to do. Animal care is a really big subject. There's lots of different jobs out there. So if you can get a week's worth of work experience, it just kind of helps to get your foot in the door a little bit. If you don't have any of those entry requirements, what you can also do is you can use the online course or the Principles of Animal Care, and we will accept people that have completed the units of that course to get them onto the NC. So if you don't have Nat 4s and 5s, then you can use the distance learning course to help you to get onto our NC as well. Excuse me 1 second, just while I get some juice. So in terms of course content, so our NC is probably our most diverse or most kind of broad in terms of the subjects that it offers. You've got your theory lectures, but you've also got a large amount of hands-on practical experience. So the practical experience will take place at the animal centre and also on the farm as well. The picture just at the top there, that's our stables. And so the NC animal care students get to work with the horses every single Friday. So they get to work on the animal centre, the farm, and also the yard as well. The NC is a really, really great introduction to animal care course. If you just kind of want a basic introduction to learn about animals, learn what they need, kind of learn about lots of different species, the NC is a really, really good course for that. Over the year, you'll learn how to care for lots of different animals, lots of different species of animals. You'll learn about their accommodation, you'll learn about what they eat, you'll learn about their behavior, and you'll also learn about their welfare needs as well. Some of the modules that we cover in NC, so you've got your accommodation module. So what that does is it talks to you about the different accommodation that's available for the animals. You know, how do we set up accommodation? How do we make sure that accommodation is suitable? You've got your anatomy and physiology. So this is kind of the more sciencey aspect of it. So talking about how the body is kind of made up and how it works. We've also got a couple of different behavior units to introduce you to animal behavior and how different animals behave. We've also got your feeding and watering unit. So that's talking about how we feed animals and how we make sure we feed them correctly. You've also got parasitology, so introducing you to some of the kind of the key parasites that you might find on your animals at home. You've got your equine care, so this is your practical unit that takes place on the yard. Your farm livestock unit again is your practical unit that takes place on the farm. Healthcare, so kind of introducing you how to look for signs of health in an animal, signs of ill health in an animal, some of the common diseases and conditions that they might suffer from. And then we've also got 3 specific units here. So one of them is just about birds. So there's a specific avian unit. So that will teach you how to ID different species of birds, talk to you a little bit about how you feed them and how to look after them properly. And then there's also a reptiles unit, so talk to you about the different species of reptile and amphibian, most commonly kept as pets, and also a fish unit as well. So kind of introducing you to some of the different species of fish and again, how to care for them properly as well. We do have a couple of kind of non-animal care related units. So core skills, so you might want to use this as an opportunity to increase your numeracy or your literacy or your IT, for example, to kind of help you to get into other courses in the future. We also have an academic skills unit within the NC, and that's just trying to start to develop things like referencing, where you look for information on the internet, how to write a report, and kind of just starting to build those more academic skills throughout as well. So kind of moving up to the next level, our next level is our HNC in animal care. So our HNC is a level 7. So your level 7 is equivalent to kind of the first year of a degree at university. Again, this is a 1-year course and it is again full-time. At the moment, the HNCs are on campus 3 days a week. At the moment, that may or may not change, but they have 2 theory days. They have 1 online day, and then they have a practical day on a Friday. So every single course has a kind of a day on the animal centre where you just get a full-on practical day where you can work with the animals. HNC provides practical skills and theoretical knowledge that the employers are looking for. Delivery for your HNC is through lectures. It's also through practical sessions on the Animal Centre. You also have demonstrations and guest speakers. I have quite a lot of guest speakers coming in for the HNC students at the moment, and also independent research as well. You don't go on the farm or the yard in your HNC or HND year 1. You don't spend any time on the farm, but if you progress through HND year 2, you get to work a bit on the farm there. So HNC is more of a blended approach. So this is where you'll have online lessons. So they normally have a day of online classes. They have 2 days a week at the moment of face-to-face sessions at college, where they'll complete kind of different theory modules. They'll do group activities, and sometimes they'll kind of do some of the practical elements, such as the bandaging for first aid. Some of that will take place while they're on campus on those days as well. So entry requirements for your HNC are 2 hires, preferably at C or above. Ideally, we'd like those hires to include biology, maths, or English. If you don't have hires, but you're still interested in coming onto the HNC, what you can do is you can start off on NC Animal Care and you can work your way through. So you can start off with NC Animal Care, you could complete that, and then following on from that, you can come then onto HNC. So if you don't want to kind of go down the hires route, but you still want to come onto HNC, completing the NC first is a really good route of doing that. So some of the topics that are covered in HNC. So animal behavior, so we're kind of working through the levels of animal behavior. So we covered it a little bit in NC, but we're going to cover it a little bit more in HNC. Again, animal welfare, so starting to really look in detail in terms of legislation and how we really ensure the welfare of our animals. Anatomy and physiology, you'll see a bit of a theme here as we're kind of working through the levels. So HNC, anatomy and physiology, is a lot more in-depth, as you would imagine, compared to NC. You've also got health and disease unit. So this is where they'll look at signs of health in the animals. They'll look at signs of ill health. They'll start to look at specific diseases and conditions, how to recognize those in an animal and how to treat them. Animal nutrition. So in that unit, what we do is we start to look at the functions of your proteins and your fats and your carbs. Then we'll also start to think about how the nutrition of an animal changes as that animal changes. So as it grows, as it gets older, maybe gets pregnant, maybe has puppies, and we'll kind of look at how the nutrition of those animals will change. Small animal husbandry. So that's your practical unit. So that unit is 100% done on the Animal Care Training Centre. And they'll just kind of have a workbook that you work through where you'll be kind of writing down evidence of the different activities that you've done. Animal handling and first aid. So teaching you basic first aid techniques. So talking to you about a little bit about bandaging, how to treat burns and scalds, how to treat lacerations and cuts, for example. And also there's some bandaging in there. So we'll teach you kind of basic bandaging techniques as well. There is a couple of non-animal care related units within the HNC. So one of them is research skills. So again, that's where we'll talk to you about how to reference properly. That's about where to get information from. That's looking for kind of good sources of information and bad sources of information. Then we also have the career planning unit. So that unit is really important if you maybe don't know what career you want to do yet. So we'll talk to you about all the different careers that are available. We'll help you to write a CV. We'll help you to do application forms. And we'll also help you to kind of get yourself ready for interviews as well. So the career planning unit is really important to kind of help you to get into that world of work once you've finished studying, because, you know, that's what's going to come next. HND. So HND is a 2-year course. The first year being the HNC. So if you were to apply to it, you kind of got 2 different options. One of them is you just sign up to the 1-year HNC. The other option is you sign up to the 2-year HND. The second year is level 8, so you're kind of moving up to a second year of a degree here. Entry requirements are the same, so 2 hires, preferably a C or above. Completion of the NC Animal Care. Progression to year 2, or you can kind of complete the HNC and then you can internally progress onto year 2 as well. So again, what we're doing with our HND is we're kind of building on the knowledge that we've built in HNC and kind of going up another level. So your topics in your HND will include things like animals and society. So that particular unit looks at how different animals are perceived in different cultures, in different religions, in different countries, and how we kind of view animals differently. Animal breeding, so kind of taught you about basic animal breeding techniques, how to breed dogs, for example, the best time to do it, how to look after them. DNA and genetics, so talking to you kind of basic DNA and genetics. Then you've got your dog training and animal behavior unit. So those two units are kind of combined because they're very similar. And for this one, what we'll do is we'll talk to you about how to kind of do basic dog training techniques. So how do you teach your dog to sit? How do you teach your dog to stay? Teach basic recall. And then what you'll do is you'll work with one of the dogs in the kennels on the animal center, and you'll work with that dog and you'll teach it basic commands, and you'll be assessed on how to kind of competently kind of train that dog and work with that dog. HND Year 2, you get to go back on the farm. So one of your farm livestock unit, you'll get to kind of do a lot of practical work back on the farm. And they're just gearing up for lambing at the moment, so the HNDs will be resuming their farm practicals and getting ready to do some lambing. Animal collections. So for this unit, what we'll do is we go out and about and we try to visit some different animal collections. And try to kind of take you to some different places and see different collections and how different collections are, are set up and the different animals that they have. Animal ethics, I kind of talking to you about, but the basic kind of ethics as to how animals are viewed and looked after, and kind of doing some debates on different topics to kind of look at them from different aspects as well. And then you've got your parasitology, so very much building on what you did in NC. If you kind of did NC first, life cycles of the parasites, common parasites that are found. And then in HND Year 2, you can kind of choose which way you want to go. So what we do is we offer what we call streams, and the students will get to choose one of these 3 streams depending on what they're most interested in. So first of all is the business stream. So this would be good for you if you're thinking about setting up your own business in the future. Maybe you want to set up your own dog walking business, your own kind of pet sitting business. So this particular stream will be really useful for you to help you to do that. We've also got the science stream. So maybe you're more interested in kind of the science element of it, the science kind of aspects of animal care. So units would include things like microbiology, so very much a lot of laboratory work, kind of looking under the microscopes, for example, and also data handling. So how do we collect data and what do we do with it? And then the other stream that we've got is the wildlife stream. So if you're really interested in wildlife, or you're really interested in conservation and kind of how animals are seen in the wild, this is the perfect stream for you. So units for that would include wildlife rehabilitation and also ecology and ecosystems as well. So you kind of get to choose which units are most suitable to you, kind of depending on what you enjoy the most. So progression routes. So lots of different ways to progress, particularly through animal care, but lots of different courses that we've got. So you can progress from NC to HNC. So if you start off with us on NC and you really enjoy it and you want to come back, then you can kind of progress from NC onto HNC after that. You can progress from HND onto Year 3 of the degrees that we've got available, or you can progress from HNC onto Year 2 of some of the degrees that we've got. You can progress from animal care onto the vet nursing degree, but it's not a guaranteed progression. Just because you've done animal care doesn't necessarily mean that you'll get into vet nursing. So you would have to kind of go through the application process as normal. You've also got, we get quite a lot of students doing animal care, but then moving on to other things. So some of our animal care students have now moved over to agriculture. Some of them have also moved from horse care. Because they've kind of enjoyed that element of it, then they've kind of moved over to those courses to kind of meet their needs a bit better. Of course, if you've done a little bit of study, then you've had enough of education. There is an employment, and animal care is such a huge industry. There's so many different jobs out there. You know, you've got zoo work, you've got laboratory work, you've got animal rescue, you've got SSPCA, you've got dog grooming, you've got, you know, pet rehabilitation, lots and lots of different avenues that you could go down. And we'll kind of help to introduce you to some of those careers. We have animal care careers days where we'll, you know, put you in touch with lots of different employers that we've got as well. Or you can kind of do a little bit of study with us, and then you might want to go off and do, say, a zoology degree or a marine biology degree, for example. Then there's lots of kind of different avenues and lots of different options available to you. So if you're interested in applying for any of those courses, so for NC Animal Care is you just need to apply through the SRUC website. So you can head onto the website and you can apply for it through there. If you're interested in our H&C course or H&D, you need to apply for that through UCAS. And I'm pretty sure that we've opened up again the applications for HNC. So you should be able to kind of go on to UCAS and you should be able to apply for those. If you've got any questions that I maybe haven't answered today, or you go away in a couple of days and you think of something, what I've done is I've popped my email address on there. So feel free to kind of pop me an email, can have a chat. We can go through any questions that you might have. It might be something that pops up in your brain in a couple of days or a week or so. So feel free to kind of get in touch as to any questions that you've got. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to just kind of show you a very quick kind of whistle-stop tour of our animal care training centre, just to give you an idea of some of the species that we've got and kind of what we've got for you to work with. So we're going to start off in the reptile room. So this is our reptile room that we've got on site, and you can see this is our terrapin enclosure. We're just down to one terrapin at the moment. At the back here we've got lots of different vivariums, and we've got lots of different kind of species of reptile and amphibian. These are our hermit crabs, a fairly recent addition. This is Dylan the horned frog. These are our stick insects, and these are our white tree frogs. So we've got lots of kind of different animals for you to work with just on that side. Moving over, these are our albino African land snails. These have been with us for a little while now. And this is what I call tortoise village at the back. So we've got 4 different enclosures of tortoises, lots of different kind of species and temperaments for you to work with. This one here is our blue-tongued skink, who I promise is sleeping. Blue-tongued skink is very old now. What we've also got at the back in these enclosures, this is our crested gecko. I'm just going to pause this so I can talk you through. Here's our bearded dragon, who's looking very chilled, I must say. So at the back there, what we've got is we've got different species of snakes. We've got a milk snake, we've got our corn snake, and we've got a hognose snake. You kind of saw briefly our crested gecko and our grumpy looking bearded dragon. He's not always grumpy, but he tends to look quite grumpy as well. And then you could see our sleeping blue-tongued skink as well. So lots of different species in that reptile room for you to work with. So the room that we're going to have a look in next is called our aviary room. So as we first go in, this is our Syrian hamster at the top, and then we've got a lone daegu at the bottom who's looking for a new home. This is our aviary. So in our aviary, we've got cockatiels, we've got canaries, and we've got diamond doves as well. We don't do any handling of the birds in there because they're just too stressed. It would stress them out too much. But what we do is we kind of go in and we can look at health, we can clean them out, we can kind of give them the correct types of food. Some of the cockatiels that we've got there have been with us for a really long period of time. So starting to kind of get a bit arthritic, starting to kind of struggle a little bit flying around. So we're trying to kind of do the best that we can to look after them. And then we'll have a look next because we've got 2 enclosures of rabbits. So we've got 2 rabbits here. We've got a male and a female just kind of chilling at the bottom there. Relatively new additions to us. And in this one, the rabbit that you can see there is Luna. So Luna is a big lion-haired rabbit. She's lovely. This is our domestic mice or mouse village. This is another daegu enclosure who's actually just recently rehomed yesterday. And here we've got our rats. So we've got 6 female rats in there, all really, really friendly, great to handle and great to work with. And then she's just having a little look to see what's going on. So lots of different animals there to work with. At the back there, what we've got spiny mice, Roborovsky hamsters, and we've also got gerbils as well. And there are spiny mice. And then in here, this is our amazing Daegu village, because in here we've got a big group of Daegus. And you can see what we've done is we've got loads of building material, loads of chewing material, loads and loads of enrichment for them to work with. And some of these Daegus are such lovely colours. They're so pretty to kind of look at and have. Most of our animals that we've got, particularly the furries, are, you know, really great to handle. Some of them can be a little bit temperamental, as you would imagine, but most of our animals are really, really great to handle. And then what we've also got, which isn't on the video, but we have ferrets. So we've actually just recently got 4 new ferrets. So we've recently got a mum and some babies. So we've got those as well. And we've also got guinea pig village as well. What we've got is kennels. So staff dogs. So staff dogs can kind of come and they'll get worked with on the animal centre and with the students. And we've got 6 kennels, I think we've got 6 now, and most of those kennels are full all the time. So it's really good that you get to work with lots of different species of animal. You've got your snakes, your lizards, your amphibians, you've got your birds, you've got your mice, you've got your daegus, you've got your ferrets, you've got your dogs. But then, of course, on the yard, you've got your horses. If you go to the farm, you know, you get to work with the sheep and the cows as well. So lots and lots of kind of different animals for you to work with. Okay, I think I'm ready for some questions.
Sure, Claire. Hi. I've got a couple of questions here for you.
No worries.
The first one is it possible to progress from HND Animal Care to Bachelor of Science Applied Animal Science at SRUC Barony?
Yeah, it is definitely possible. We've actually got a couple of HND students this year just now who are applying to move on to applied animal science. The best thing to do, I would say, would be to move. What they're kind of recommending more now is that it's better to move from HNC into year 2 of applied animal science. It kind of helps that transition a little bit easier. But yes, 100% you can progress from animal care to applied animal science, 100%.
And the next one is my daughter has applied for HNC Animal Care. When can she expect to hear back regarding whether she has received a conditional offer?
Hopefully soon. I would say if you haven't heard back in the next kind of couple of weeks, to speak to admissions, because they would be the people that deal with the applications, and it kind of goes through essentially through admissions. So I think if you're concerned or you're worried if you haven't heard back, I would get in touch with admissions directly. Probably be the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, I think they are currently working through all those
Yeah.
applications at the moment. It's just ongoing, and I think you should hear in the next little bit of time.
Yeah.
If you are concerned and you want to get in contact with admissions, their email address I'll provide in the email that I'll email you out after the event. Also with a recording of this, but their email address is admissions@sruc.ac.uk. I can't see any more questions coming through.
Okay.
But if anyone does have any questions, as Claire says, you can email Claire or myself. I will email you after the event, and you can get in contact with us.
Yeah, definitely get in touch if you've got anything.
I will leave that there, I think, Claire. That was great. Thanks very much.
Thanks, everyone.